if I'm going to do those 50 kilo dumbbells, you're going to have to swap me. So that's going to be fun. What's my intro? Yo. Yo. Welcome to the YouTube. Today, Ryan's been doing his homework and he suggested that we give the people what they want, not what we want. Do we give them what we want or what they want? Both? Bit of both. You're getting what we want and what you want. So today we're going to run through a full body push session. I did put it out on the internet yesterday to see what people wanted, and full body push was unanimous. So today we're going to run through full body push. Essentially for me, the thing that I'm trying to grasp in this session is how can I get the most work done in the most amount of body parts without completely fucking myself. We're going to start with dumbbell shoulder press, which I have a bit of a score to settle, and I've been holding out for this session because I know I'm at least 10% stronger if Ryan's here. Pro tip for anybody who wants to hit a PR, bring Ryan. Dumbbell shoulder press, incline Smith machine bench press, pec deck, leg extension, leg press, calves, probably for the first time this year, tricep, rope push down, single arm triceps, and then dumbbell lateral raise to finish. And I've only put that in there because Coach Dave says I have to finish every session with dumbbell lateral raise no matter what I'm training. So that's what we're going to get into today. I really don't like this bench. No, I mean, we'll keep it in. I mean, you got to work with what you've got, right? So we're going to do dumbbell shoulder press. First of all, find yourself a bench that you like, which I have not done. So what not to do, get a bench that you don't like. Not an exercise that I've had in rotation probably for about 2 years, but I was training with Helmy, who is a big boy, when we were in London a couple of weeks ago, and he says, "Are you alright doing this?" And I thought I would give it a blast, and turns out I was alright doing it. The thing you need to take into consideration is the angle of the seat here. This is probably a little bit too far back. We'll see how this one goes. Yeah, better. Most difficult part is going to be getting this into position. If you have any sort of shoulder issues or injuries or worries, don't do this movement at all. I really don't like this bench. Working through your active range, general rule of thumb, you want to come down, elbows just about in line with your shoulders, and then drive up from there. Have I mentioned that I don't like this bench? So by the power of the internet, we've now got a bench that I actually don't dislike as much. Ryan has reminded me that I need to let you know how many sets and reps we're going to do. First of all, we're going to do some warm-up sets to make sure that we can feel the muscle, have a proper contraction with it, see where we're at in terms of strength. In terms of total sets and reps, for me, I like to do less total sets so I can bring more intensity to them. So I'm just going to do one working set of probably between 6 and 9 reps, and then a back off set at about minus 20% weight and like 10 to 15 reps. Right, so sorry to interrupt this broadcast. Ryan's going to do Q&A with Ben on the drive on the way to or from the gym, depending on whatever report you put this in on. So what's the question?
What is a warm-up set?
A warm-up set I would consider to be a set that you do before you do your working sets, with the goal of, number one, for want of a better phrase, switching on your body to that specific movement. So getting your central nervous system in line with whatever the movement is. And also for me personally, getting a feel for where I'm at in terms of strength for the day and how I feel overall. General rule of thumb for me is we'll go in at about 50 or 60% of our working weight to begin with and do like 5 or 6 reps, and incrementally go up in weight as we get closer to our working weight. The goal will be to reduce the reps as we get closer to our working weight so that we're not going into our working set fatigue. So for example, first set will be 60% of your working weight and you do maybe 5 or 6 reps. Then you go to 75% of your working weight and you do 4 reps. Then go to 85% and do 2 or 3 reps. And then 90 or 95% of your working weight and do maybe 1 or 2 reps max, and then move into your working set.
And then
Not a dictionary definition, but what's a working set? Ram wanted to leave this one out, but I mean, self-explanatory or not, I think we should probably let people know. A working set is where you do the work. So a back off set is the set that you do after your working set or working sets. General rule of thumb for it is more reps and less weight. Usually whenever I program, I'll do like minus 20% of your total working weight, but it doesn't need to be exact math because we know that math is hard. The goal will be to go from, say for example, 6 to 9 or 8 to 12 to like 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 in terms of total reps. It will allow you to increase the total overall volume without having to work at the max weight. So being able to work through more reps to completely fatigue the muscle after you do your working set. If you are earlier on in your training journey, I would say more sets and more reps is probably more beneficial because it will actually allow you to learn the skill of the movement. When it comes to your warm-up sets, you don't want to do too much that you fatigue yourself for your working sets, but you also want to get your body into a position that it's able to handle the set. For me, the first weight I pick is probably about 60% of where I'm at with my working set, my working weight. I'll do like 4 or 5 reps of that to get a feel for it. As I go up the weight and closer to what my working weight is, I'll do less reps. So I'll probably do 3 with this, which is about 80%. I'll do 1 more, see how I feel, and then I'll move into a working set, which hopefully today will be an all-time PR. Don't know how Ryan's going to spot me and record at the same time though. Find out. Set it there. I might be all talk here and absolutely not have it in the tank, but we'll find out. Ooh. As I said, haven't had any overhead pressing movement in training rotation in about 2 years, which is cool because it shows that you can build strength in another way. So I've just done 40 kilos, this is 45. The hope is to get 50, which in my eyes, whenever you get 50 kilo dumbbells at anything, you've completed the gym. Fucking hell.
if I'm gonna do those 50 kilo dumbbells, you're gonna have to spot me. So that's gonna be fun. In frame, good. So not just the cameraman Ryan's gonna spot me. I had to give him a little bit of a pep talk because he didn't want to fall into a category that I'll not mention. Essentially, for me anyway, and I realize everybody's different, when it comes to spotting, I only need the help, or only want the help when I'm really starting to struggle. The issue I face with the dumbbell shoulder press is I'm the weakest at the bottom of the movement. So when I get the dumbbells to here, that's at the most difficult spot. So I'll just need Ryan to come in under my elbows and push up whenever I tell him. I'll know pretty much right away whether I've got the set or the reps or not, and we'll go from there. Good? Stoked, psyched, no music or anything, just straight in. Like even automatically want to go and like adjust my headphones, like part of my... Yeah. Just whisper, don't be a little bitch. What would David Boyd do? What would David Boyd do? These are big, like. Let's do it. Just lift them. Just press. Just be stronger. Just all you need to do is push them up. Easy, easy. Ready? Yep. Right, under my elbows.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Ooh, good job. Nice. We'll see.
Push.
I'll do. Completed, mate. Five stars for Ryan as a spotter. I would recommend different. Fucking hell. $50 kilos. That's what we may complete the gym whenever you get those. So we're going to do inclined Smith machine chest press. We'll follow a similar set and rep range pattern to the last time. We'll do one set of 6 to 9 in a working set, and then we'll do a back off set of about 10 to 15. Back off set, generally you're going to aim for about 20% less total weight, and what that will allow you to do is push the overall volume without working at the max weight after you've just spent yourself in your main working set. The reason I've chosen the Smith machine is, truthfully, I just like it. I know some people don't. This one's especially good because the angle that it moves, it sort of, I guess, complements the way that you will press. Some of them will run like straight up and down. This one runs at a slight angle. So you'll notice here, I can almost push away in it from when I'm at the bottom, and the ability to push away. Sometimes I would reverse band it, so essentially put a band at the top, which will take some of the load off at the bottom, but I feel like that's maybe an entire video in itself. So again, we're going to do a couple of warm-up sets. Probably don't need to do as much because I can tell you I am warm, and then we'll get into our working set. One thing to take into consideration is the angle that the bench sits at. Completely person dependent. It will depend on your frame and how you're made up. But as a general rule of thumb, the more of an incline on it, the more it's going to go up your chest and then into your shoulders. So you'll notice from the dumbbell shoulder press, it was at quite a steep angle, but not completely vertical. With this, I'm at about 45 degrees. For me, that's just the perfect angle. You'll notice whenever I get into the movement, I'll have a slight arch in my back, which will bring my chest up, which will bring the angle of my sternum up, which will mean essentially the goal will be to work from the mid to the upper part of the chest throughout the movement. That's the goal anyway. Main considerations within the movement are keeping as much stability as possible. So you'll notice here, once I start to bring the bar down, I'll work through my active range. Again, general rule of thumb, elbows just below shoulders. As I come up, your body naturally wants to internally rotate the shoulders, bringing yourself up like that, but you'll lose tension through the chest. So you want to keep your shoulder blades pinched back, and you want to come to here, making sure that the only part of your body's moving is essentially your arms. So we're going to finish chest off with pec deck. We're going to follow a slightly different rep range pattern here. We're just going to do 2 sets of 10 to 15. Like finishing with pec deck, so you can work through that fully contracted range of the muscle. So essentially you're going to come from the mid to fully shortened range and want to get a contraction through the chest as much as possible. Same idea, we'll keep a couple of warm-up sets in just to get our body used to the specific movement. And another, I guess, internal cue for this movement is if you think about bringing your elbows together versus bringing your hands together, you get a much better contraction, me personally anyway, through your chest. Now that we have done the majority of the upper body session, we're going to move on to the lower body. I'm going to start lower body with leg extension. A couple of setup points on this. You want to line up the pivot of your knee, so essentially where your knee moves, with the pivot of the machine. You also want to line up the pad in a position that it doesn't roll up or down your leg whenever you're going through the movement. Both these things will be dictated by where the back pad sits, and you want to be able to tuck yourself into the corner as much as possible. Hold yourself in like you're in a roller coaster and drive up through here. Just realised I have a mermaid tattoo on from Harper as well. Got that dad life. Sets and reps. For me, I'm going to follow a similar rep range. I'm going to go for 8 to 12, and then I'm going to go for 10 to 15. So a higher weight, lower rep range to begin with, and then do a back off set. If you struggle with getting the connection with the muscle in terms of like the quad in this, and or you're a bit of a beginner, whenever it comes to training, I would always recommend doing a higher rep set to begin. That will allow you, number one, to feel the connection with the muscle and get a bit of blood flowing in it. So as you're warming up, I would do one set of about 20 reps at about 50% of your working weight, and then go into your working sets after that. I'm not going to do that though. For you, Ryan, I would say for you, you would do that, not me. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine what it was like back in the day, like Jay Cutler videoing himself, like with fucking, like what type of camera were they using? Like a fucking cassette recorder? Like a fucking handheld? Now we're on the leg press. One of the biggest things that I try and teach my clients is working through their active range. And what I mean by that is the range that they are in, that they're still in control of the movement. There's a pretty good example as to working that out. In terms of like full range, I'll show you what that looks like and why that's not good. So set your feet on the platform, push off, take the safety off. For me, yes, I can come right down into here, but you'll notice past a certain point, you'll not be able to see it, but my heels are lifting off and you'll start to see a curve in the bottom of my back. That's whenever you're going to start to run into issues. For me, the best way on the leg press to work out what your active range is, position your feet as they would, keep the safety on, and just try and bring your feet to your body. So you hold on. This is going to be hilarious because of my mobility, but that is what my active range is, which doesn't look like very much. But whenever I push it off and come to here, I know generally I'm going to want to come to knees in line with hips. I'm still in control. Everything's still tucked in. I can drive through my heels and my legs are doing the work and nothing is in jeopardy of any injury. Sets and reps for this one. For this, I've just put down 2 sets of 10 to 15. Something again that hasn't been in my training rotation for a while. So I just want to see where I'm at strength-wise. You can still follow a similar protocol that we have been. That you can do a working set and a back off set. But for this today, I'm going to do 2 sets of 10 to 15. I think. The thing I fucking hate about the leg press is how many plates you have to put on it. Just adding some calves in here so that the internet believes that I train calves. That's it. I realise there's an irony here in taking advice on training calves from someone who has the same calves as me. But for this, we're going to do 4 sets of 15 to 20 reps. The biggest thing on this is finding the range to work through. So you want to be able to get into the fully lengthened position right at the bottom here, but also into the fully contracted position. Press right up onto your toes right at the top here and control that as much as possible. And then say a prayer and hope that your calves grow. Quick look busy.
Final words on training calves.
Worst muscle group to train ever with some triceps. Got me on one of these because that one's always a little bit wet, and I don't care what, regardless of what the moisture on it is I don't want to touch it anymore. So I got me on one. Rep ranges. With this, I'm going to go for 3 sets of 10 to 15 because I feel like triceps can take a little bit more of a battering because it's a smaller muscle group. Good to go. I'm waiting on you. Goal here is slide forward, lean into it, tuck your elbows in as if they're stuck to your sides, drive down and out. You want to get a full contraction in your tricep. Keep control on the way back up. Pause and then drive all the way back down. Whew, that's too heavy. Second tricep exercise is going to be single arm. Again, you want to keep the cable as in line with your arm as possible. get that full contraction. This is a Helmy special, and whenever I asked them to be specific about who this would be most beneficial for, he said anybody with an arm. So if you've got an arm, this is a tricep exercise for you. So we're going to finish with dumbbell lateral raises. Now many of you will be wondering why we're not doing lateral raises with a cable. I would say the best way to put it is lateral raises with a cable are optimal, but they're sometimes not practical, because sometimes pulling the bench and dragging it halfway across the gym and setting it up to pull the cables and getting everybody's way just isn't worth it. So just use the dumbbells. So what am I doing? Rep ranges? Rep ranges. Coach Dave suggests 4 sets, as many reps as possible to finish every workout. So that's what we're going to do. Things to look out for: be in control the entire time. Keep your elbows in line with your shoulders. Control it on the way down. Only come to about here and then back up again. So, just finished up. To recap, in total, 6 sets on shoulders, 6 sets on chest, 4 sets on quads, 4 sets on calves, and 6 sets on triceps. Full body push, completed it, mate.